Testing, testing. Test 1, 2. Everyone good? Okay.
Good afternoon. I am San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins. I am here to announce the charges in connection with the fatal stabbing of a social worker that occurred at San Francisco General Hospital several days ago on December 4th. Today, we have filed charges against Wilfredo Jose Tortolero Orechi, 36, who has now been charged with murder. He's also been charged with a single allegation for the use of a knife during the commission of that crime. As you can expect, we are seeking to detain Mr. Orechi as he poses a significant public safety risk to the San Francisco community, and that motion will be heard at the time of his arraignment tomorrow afternoon in Department 19 at the Hall of Justice at 1:30 p.m. I want to, at this point, extend my condolences both to the victim's family, who I know are in so much pain right now with this tragic loss of life, but also to the staff of San Francisco General Hospital, who I know are also suffering right now. We have to make sure as law enforcement that we do the utmost to protect everybody who works in healthcare and those who are trying to serve the people who need the most help in our city. Each and every day they come to work to take care of others, and it's our obligation to take care of them. And so, again, my heartfelt condolences go out to this family and to this community, and we will now be making sure that we achieve justice and obtain justice for everyone involved, as again, we mourn the tragic loss of someone who every day came to work to help others. And so I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Booking charges was mayhem, which confirming you are or not charging mayhem.
We are not charging mayhem. At the time of his booking, the victim was still alive, and so much has changed given.
Can you describe, until the victim passed, the severe nature, the horrific nature of the knife attack, and your thoughts on this happening at a care hospital?
All I can say is what's already of public record right now. I've read the articles, I've seen the news stories as well. What we know is that this is a man who came into Ward 86, a clinic at SFGH, apparently, supposedly to receive care, but was acting in a way that was of concern. And at some point during his time in that clinic, pulled out a concealed knife that he had, that he had brought with him into the clinic and stabbed the victim in the neck multiple times. And so, as you can imagine, that is a very critical part of the body, and unfortunately, the injuries were far too serious for him to recover.
Can you describe the weapons charge?
If you use a certain type of weapon in the commission of a murder, we can charge an enhancement, an additional allegation, and in this case, we've charged a special allegation for the use of a knife, which at this time under California law adds an additional year of exposure to the prison sentence.
Can you talk about where the suspect is right now? Is he still in the general hospital ward? Is he at county jail? What's his booking status?
At this time, I'm not aware of where he is located. We do expect to find out more tomorrow at the arraignment. If he is able to come to court, then we expect that he will be transported there, however.
Do you feel more safety procedures need to be done? Because a lot of people like the Deputies Association or the Sheriff's Office, as well as the hospital workers through the union themselves, were saying that they felt for a long time there wasn't enough security there to help them.
I'm sure that a lot is going to have to be considered at this point and reviewed to see whether or not there are additional measures that can be taken to ensure greater security. Since I became the DA, I've gone to SFGH and a number of different hospitals to talk with emergency room staff and other medical staff about safety concerns and the things that we've been seeing across hospitals in San Francisco over the last number of years, both by ordinary civilians, but people who are under the influence and people who are suffering from grave mental illness. And there is a lot to be done in that regard to ensure that our healthcare workers are safe. I think we have to remove politics from it and make sure that we are doing what we believe is safest for them, to ensure that people don't have weapons, or if there are dangerous people, that we either remove them from facilities if we can, or ensure that the medical care that they need to receive is done in a manner that keeps the workers safe. And so I think there's a lot that will come out of this as far as what other measures can be taken.
Can you speak at all to his prior, there were warnings about his behavior prior to this incident?
Again, I can only go into what's a public record right now. There were concerns expressed about threats that had been made to a different professional in the clinic, and so that's why there was, in fact, a sheriff's deputy on site. But again, this is a very fresh investigation. I want my office and the police to have the ability to really flesh through the sequence of events as they happened, so that we can have a clear picture of what his motivations were. And again, we have a decision to make about whether we proceed on a first-degree murder theory or a second-degree murder theory, and a part of that requires us looking very closely at the way that this played out and what threats had been issued prior to this stabbing. And so those are all things we'll be looking at.
And on that note, are you either considering or have not yet charged any criminal threats against that other clinic professional in this case, or is that still pending?
At this time, we have not charged any other filed any other charges with respect to conduct related to other individuals. This is something that we, again, have to flesh out over the course of this investigation. If we do believe that we have a theory under which we can proceed with proof beyond a reasonable doubt, we'll charge any other crimes that we believe were committed. At this time, though, I will say, while they did express concerns to the Sheriff's Department, at no time was this individual arrested or any case presented to my office prior to the stabbing. So I think there's a lot that we need to see.
We heard sort of different things from different people about the wounds. We heard neck and shoulder stabbing, and you mentioned neck multiple times. Can you just clarify where the victim, in what body parts he was stabbed?
My understanding is that he was stabbed in the neck. I can't say whether it extended beyond that into the shoulder at this point, but I do know that it was the neck area, and so again, that's what I believe was ultimately why this was fatal.
And do you know how close that sheriff's deputy who was attached to that other professional was, and how much time elapsed between distance and time sheriff's deputy / clinic professional with our victim?
I do not, nor can I share any other facts that I've learned that are not a public record. So much more will come out tomorrow at the arraignment. That the courtroom, of course, as you know, is open to the public. But again, this is still a very fresh investigation. There are a number of witnesses that need to be interviewed formally, not simply the comments that they made to the press, but we need to have them interviewed by law enforcement, and then we will have to then flush out consistencies in those statements to really understand the timeline of what happened and also the proximity of where certain people were at the time.
Is there a mugshot of the suspect?
We do not release mugshots in San Francisco for a number of reasons, so that's not something I can provide.
And did you want to also just wrap up your thoughts about here our victim is trying to help others. Our suspect arguably needed some kind of help, yet turned into a suspect. Your thoughts about trying to wrap our minds around that hustle?
Yes, I think we have seen over time an escalation in the amount of violence that we're seeing in our healthcare environments against healthcare workers for a number of different reasons. Again, citing mental health issues of people who are coming in, as well as substance abuse disorder, and just other things I think that have been happening over the course of the last number of years. And so I know that there have been increasing concerns more generally amongst staff, and it's heartbreaking to see someone who, again, came to work that day to help others lose his life in trying to do so. But we, of course, need to rally together now and understand what measures we can take to provide additional safety in our hospital settings, in our clinics, to make sure that we're doing everything in our power as law enforcement and as a public health department to ensure that workers are safe. What I will say, though, is that there has been tension for some time between wanting law enforcement present in these environments. And so I think we have to come to the reality of the understanding that law enforcement serves a purpose and we have a job that we need to do, and a part of that is protecting people in their work environments, in these kinds of environments where different people come in with different issues that they're facing. And so I think we're at a reckoning point right now, given this crime, that we're going to have to form a partnership together to make sure that nothing like this ever happens again unnecessarily. Thank you.